Amy,
Yes.
did you ever get in trouble in school?
Just a little tiny bit.
What'd you
How about
do?
you? I talked a lot. I I don't know. That's it. It's pretty much it. You were an angel?
I'm an angel. Yeah.
Really? Oh, nice.
The
So
trick
you
is
didn't get any spankings?
don't get caught. Right.
Oh,
No paddling.
okay.
No
No
paddling.
paddle.
There
I
are
didn't get paddled either though.
It's still us, Mo and Amy from the Flippin' Fantastic podcast. This is just our behind the scenes where we talk about everything and anything except reselling. Make sure you subscribe and take a listen. Bye.
so we're talking about corporal punishment in school.
Yeah.
So we have gone from, I will say this, we've gone from there used to be it, now it's not. In most states, there's not any corporal punishment, which it really comes down to a paddling on the butt.
Yeah.
Um, there are still some states that do it to, and this is from someone who lived it, to no punishments whatsoever for like terrible things, or maybe like a
Mhm.
couple days suspended in school suspension.
Oh. You got wait, wait,
Mm.
wait. Did you say you got in school suspension?
No, no, I'm saying schools
Oh,
have gone from, you know,
true.
paddling to nothing.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
didn't get anything.
some schools. I did g I
Mhm.
did get in school suspension once, but
Mm.
that was,
Amy.
I know. I did get detention once in elementary school too, but I got the in-school suspension in high school. I can remember it vividly, vividly, the moment that I knew I was getting written up.
Oh, Amy.
I was a
Shame.
good kid. I was a
Shame.
good kid.
Huh?
I said I was a good
What'd you
kid
do?
though. To get the in-school suspension,
Mhm.
I skipped lunch. You go to lunch at the cafeteria and then you go to your next class. Well,
Yeah.
I skipped lunch with a friend and we walked to my friend's house, which is like,
Oh.
maybe 10 houses away from the school. And then we went
Yeah.
back to school after
Right.
lunch so we were walking back to the school on the sidewalk, me and my friend, and my biology teacher drove by us. He made eye contact with me and I was like, "Shit," in my head. And then what do you know, the next day, I don't remember what happened, but I ended up getting ISS for skipping class. And I was just like, "God damn it." It was my chemistry teacher or biology. Was it biology? I don't know. I think it was
That's
biology teacher. He was the only one that who could have done it, and I was just so like, "I can't believe that." I was literally going back to school. It's not like I was leaving school, you know?
right.
And I got in school suspension one day. I don't even remember much about it other than that you had to do your classwork, which was kinda stupid,
Yeah.
which I don't know. It was whatever. I can't but I do remember sitting there thinking, the teacher that was sitting in the classroom, I was just like, "What a slack job." Like, all you have to do is make sure we're doing our busy work, and that's it? Like, your day must be so slow, you know?
That yes, but not anymore because the kids that are in I would tell you that. Maybe back in our day, but the kids
Uh-huh.
that are in school suspension, that place would get wild sometimes.
Oh, really?
Wild. Yeah, because the kids are so the kids okay. So let's go back. When I was in 4th grade, I had a teacher that would paddle, but he would paddle boys. He would give them a couple
Okay.
whacks. Now, for all I know, they're traumatized for life and in therapy. I don't know. It didn't seem that bad to me. They got a couple whacks and
Right.
everything it was all over. Do you know what I mean? Like,
You
they
said
didn't
wait a minute, before you go,
huh?
you said, "It didn't seem that bad to me." That's because
Well,
you were just like
no,
the sideline just watching it happen. Wait,
because
did they
I
spank
don't
him in
think
the classroom?
yeah, I don't think he hit them that hard. I
Okay.
think it was more the embarrassment. Do you know what I mean? It was more
Yeah.
like he smacked you in front of your friends.
Oh, wow.
And let me be honest, it was usually the same couple boys, okay? Every once in a while. But
It's funny.
but here's the thing. It was like they had a moment of embarrassment. They were mad, whatever. But then it was over. I'm not condoning paddling, by the way, but it was over. There was no in-school suspension. We just went back to class. Do you know what I mean? There was no
Uh-huh.
he didn't have to
Yeah.
write anybody up. Maybe he called home later. I don't know.
Mhm.
But it was done. Now a kid does, for this is from my perspective. A kid did something in class. Well, sometimes you just try and like get them to stop. But if they keep doing it, here's what happens. Okay, say they keep interrupting, disrupting class, whatever. And the first like 5 times, because if you write them up, if you don't try and handle it just between the you and them, it's like a
Uh-huh.
mountain of work you as a teacher have to do. I have to
Mhm.
call parents if I can get a hold of them.
Mhm.
Sometimes emailing them's better, but then the administration would be like, "No, you have to call them. You have to talk to them." I'm like, "Well, they don't answer their phone. At least they answer my
Right.
email?" And then I have to fill out paperwork. And then I have to like defend myself of why I did that.
Okay.
We've gone from again, I'm not defending paddling. It sounds like I am, but it just seemed so much simpler.
To just, like, spank, spank, and then go sit back in your chair.
Right, and it was over, and they were like maybe they were mad or they laughed about it or whatever, but and
Mhm.
like I said, I can't speak for them. Maybe they're in therapy now. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it didn't seem, and that was the only teacher that did it, and he was a man. That was the first male teacher I had was in 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
And then it was still because now you can't do it in my state. Um,
Yeah.
you could back then. I don't know exactly when it changed.
Mhm.
But what was I gonna say? I
And he
forget.
only
Anyway,
paddled boys? It was only
yeah,
boys?
he didn't do the girls. So, and I don't know if there was an understanding with the parents, like did he send something home? Because so the states that let's see, let me put up the states that paddle.
Yeah. That's still
Okay.
which shot well, before you say this, when I was the reason we're talking about this is because I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about corporal
Oh yeah.
punishment, and they were saying after hearing this, it seems to go between 17 and 19 states still have it on their legislature or whatever, that they can
Right.
still have corporal punishment and paddling in schools, which blew my mind because I don't live in one of these states and neither do you. So I always just thought that this was like done with like in the 80s or something because
Yeah, no.
that's
There
it's
was
insane.
I remember watching it wasn't on for long. I can't remember what channel it was on, but it was when I was teaching. There was a kind of like a documentary or like a something about
Mhm.
principals, and they had a couple different states, and one of them was like Texas. So obviously Texas
Mhm.
is red. Corporal punishment in public schools is legal, and you can see the red states. This is from Wikipedia. I know something needs an update, but they did it, but it was, and maybe it wasn't Texas, but they were in a couple. They followed a couple principles, but of schools, and they I wanna say they had a note, like, it was like it went home. It was like, do you want them to be battled? And they kid
Yeah.
could choose, like, you're gonna have, like, a week's detention or you're gonna take your licks today after school. And they would just take the licks because then you don't have detention,
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
So, I don't know, you know?
Mhm.
So, the red it's legal, and that's all. Y Orange is illegal for
Well, the
only
re
students with disabilities. Like you
I
can be
illegal.
you can beat everybody else, but kid with an IEP you can't beat.
No spankies. No spankies for those
And
kids.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just to be devil's advocate, again, I don't condone spanking in school. There's
Uh-huh.
other ways to
Yeah.
punish. You want kids included, and you're not including them in this. I mean, look, a kid with an IEP can be bad too. They break the
Ri
rules all the time.
yeah.
Um,
True,
yellow
yeah,
is
they know.
right. Yellow, it's legal, but it is not unused,
Mhm.
which was probably the way it was for a long time until they passed laws. Um,
Yeah, because it
the
goes from, like, school district to school district. Because
yeah,
it can from what I was reading, it can be legal in the state, but each school
yes.
district votes on whether or not they wanna use it.
And that
So,
is
I could
the
see
light blue, looks like, Kentucky and, Virginia. No, North
no,
Carolina, sorry.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, North
Mhm.
Carolina. It's it's legal, but it's banned in the school district level. So
Yeah.
none of the school districts use it because it's banned. So your
Yeah.
state. Mine is light blue, which is it's, illegal in public schools, and
Mhm.
then the dark blue, it's illegal in public and private schools. So,
Uh-huh. Which is I don't even what is that, like, Iowa, Illinois, New York, and then the tiny
yeah,
states.
Maryland, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
everywhere.
maybe something else, I can't tell. Those are the
It,
teeny states.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's not
Which is
widespread. It used to be a
yeah,
bigger thing. I mean, my parents used to get I mean, that's Catholic school, so, um,
yeah.
back in the
Get
day,
lickings on their
they'd
hands.
yeah, they'd wrap them on the knuckles, although in Delaware, my state, you can still do that in a private school, so
Hmm,
you can still get
interesting.
wrapped on the knuckles.
Yeah, I guess mine too. I live in Virginia, and it's that medium blue color, but I don't know any I don't know any I don't know anybody. I knew kids that went to public school, obviously, and I knew 'em that they went to private school, they went to, like,
Yeah.
Catholic school, Christian schools. I don't ever remember hearing them
Uh,
talking about,
it's a it's a dicey
paddling.
area. It's a because even if it's illegal,
Mhm.
nobody's gonna use it in most cases because somebody's gonna sue anyway. They're suing
Yeah.
civil court. So, um, that's
Can
why
you
I think
imagine
in the states where they do, in the school districts in the states where they do it, I think
Mhm.
it's like they have a whole legal like parent consent, you
Yeah.
know?
I
And
mean,
like I
could you
said, the one I saw, the kids chose. It was like, "Do you want detention for a week or do you want your licks after school?" And they take the licks because, like, they have stuff to do after
it's
school, so.
yeah, it's quick, and they're like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah.
I could imagine moving to one of those school districts. You're moving to, like, a different state, and you're like, "Oh, let me enroll my kid in kindergarten," and then they're like, "Oh, part of the paperwork is, here, do you wanna opt into corporal punishment if your son or daughter has misbehaved?" I've been like, What?"
What?
I although I did, go to school, for, like, 3rd and 4th grade in Illinois, and
Mhm.
on that list are you able to pull it back up real quick? I
Yeah.
think Illinois
Mhm.
is yeah, Illinois is
Yep.
now corporal punishment in public and private school is illegal, but when
Yeah.
I went to public school in Illinois, and the teacher had a list of all the kids' names on the left-hand side of the board, and you got 3 check marks, and then once you got that 3rd check mark, you got a paddle. I d I had 2 check marks next to my name before I moved, and I
Yeah.
was, like, in fear. I had such anxiety. The fact that I still remember it, like,
Uh-huh.
vividly,
Right.
uh, I just was like, "Oh my god, thank god I moved," because I had 2 paddles I mean, 2 check marks next to my name, but I do remember
Wait,
a
how
couple
long
of
did the check
boys
marks stay there?
the
It
school
wasn't like
year.
the whole school year? It wasn't like
I
you get 3 checks.
No, 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 no. No, it wasn't daily. It was like I don't when you're little, it's
Dang.
time seems like such a long time. Maybe it was quarters or semesters, and, maybe you got to start fresh or something, but
Right.
all I know is I had 2 check marks and I was in fear that I was gonna get paddled. But they did get paddled, and I can remember the paddle. It looked like that paddle in the picture, that, like, wooden paddle. I think it had, like, holes in it. That's scary. So, times they changed, huh? From and this was in, I don't know, late '80s? Like, late '80s probably.
Yeah.
So, yikes. S Scary. I wonder what those kids are doing now, those kids that got paddled in that class. And I don't even remember if the teacher did the paddling or the principal, like, I don't remember the situation
Right.
with it, but it
On
is
the
crazy to think about. Uh,
it says,
so wait. Oh, go ahead.
so what had happened is there was a Supreme Court decision. I was trying to look up. I forget what it was. Who versus what.
Was it, like,
Um,
Arlington?
but it was in 1977 Supreme Court ruling deemed it constitutional, like it was still constitutional, but left it up to the states, which makes sense. So it
Right.
is it's not a federal law or anything. It's a state.
Mhm. Problem.
So that's crazy.
It is. So you were telling me that that 4th grade teacher that spanked the boys, like,
Yeah.
you ended up teaching with him,
No,
right?
I didn't teach with him. No.
Oh, gotcha.
Honestly, I think he passed away before I started teaching. He was older. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
I thought you
No,
had,
I
like, a
didn't teach with him.
story.
I
Oh,
taught
okay.
with other teachers that had stories of,
Did?
back in the day, but
Any you can share?
I have a story. Well, okay, so I taught 6th grade science, and my 6th grade science teacher, he had left, and somebody was in there for like a year before I came, but basically
Uh-huh.
took over. He would still come back. His Oh, that's a whole other story. His girlfriend, the lady he was his partner. I don't know what to call it because he was
'Cause they were older?
He never got divorced.
Oh,
And
geez.
they were
That's
together when I was a kid. She lived in the same
oh.
neighborhood. It was a whole thing, as me.
Oh my
And so he was
goodness.
always there. But anyway, he passed away too. He he told me that so there was this other he was like an assistant principal when I was a kid. I went through I went through busing. There was a whole Supreme Court thing that the city here had to be desegregated. And so all the school districts they separated everything into different school districts, and
Uh-huh.
each took a piece of the city. So I switched. I went a couple times, right?
Uh-huh.
Back and forth. So that was when I was in second grade, and I had to. So then they bused us in the city. To be fair, it wasn't that far for me, and my friends. It wasn't that big a deal. There was other school districts that they had, like, a much farther ride to go in or out. So you had to go
Uh-huh.
suburban kids were bused into the city for a certain amount, and then, uh, city kids were bused out. It was mostly they were bused out for high school or middle school because there's no real high schools in the city anymore. Anyway, so it was all that, and we moved schools around a bunch of times. Now the school I taught in, Hogwarts you call it, that
Uh-huh.
was a junior high for a while. So I think it was 7th, 8th, ninth.
Uh-huh.
And the teacher I taught with, he told me some stories. He goes, "Well, one time this kid was such a
Oh,
menace
goodness.
that the assistant principal guy, they were buds because they had taught together
Uh-huh.
and stuff, and then he became assistant principal. Held him out the window by his ankles. It was
What?
terrible. Can you imagine? I'm laughing, but it's awful. Like, what?
Uh,
I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, other people were holding on to him too, but we just wanted to put
out
the
of,
fear
like,
of
the
God in
2nd
him."
story?
Yes,
2nd story?
out of the
Stop it.
window in one of the windows in my room. He's like, "Oh, yeah, that window there."
What? No way. That's
Oh my god.
insane. Can you imagine that kid going home and telling their parents? They've been like, "Yeah, right. That happened." You know?
Yeah, because parents didn't back then, parents were like, "Well, you deserved." You know what I mean?
But I
Now
wouldn't have
you're
even
getting sued.
believed it, you
You
know?
look at the kids the wrong way, the parents are on you.
True.
They're like, "Oh, you told him this."
Mhm.
he said he wasn't
Yeah,
talking, you said he was talking. Well, he was, and then it's a whole
I
argument. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You hung him
yeah.
out by his ankles. I don't know. Now here's the
Jeez.
thing. I don't know how much of an exaggeration that was. Like, did they
Uh-huh.
just, like, tip him out there and say it? You know what I mean? Like, was he really
Yeah.
hanging by his ankles? I don't know.
I bet you
But
that put a little fear
it
in them,
was
though.
a different time, huh?
I said, "I bet you that put a little fear in him in the kid, and he probably shaped right up."
I don't know who the kid was because that would have happened when I was little, you know?
Yeah.
I was probably still in elementary school, but
I don't condone the paddling and stuff either, but it just
no.
makes me think, that recent teacher from Newport News, Virginia, that was shot by the first grader with the gun,
Yeah.
it just makes me think if you were able to do some kind of punishments other than I don't even know what kind of punishments they were doing, that like, what maybe that teacher wouldn't have got shot by that first grader with the gun, if they were able to do
Well,
I don't know.
honestly,
I don't know.
in all
It's such a
honesty,
slippery
that kid
slope,
didn't belong in a regular setting. Like, he needed
Yeah.
some because he had been suspended, and then when he
Mhm.
came
Yeah.
back,
Oh, yeah.
his parent had to come with him for a while, and that was the first day that
Yeah.
he was unsupervised by a parent. So,
Yeah.
they tried everything. It comes from home. It comes from home. Like, he's not being parented correctly at home. He has some
Right.
deep-seated issues, and he just didn't belong in a regular
Yeah.
classroom. He needed somewhere where he was getting mostly, um,
Like,
more intense, like, therapy. At some point,
uh-huh.
you have to, like, say, "Okay, he's gonna be a little behind in reading and math because he needs to be, we need to
Socialized
make him."
or and
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's just wild. It's just wild though that
mhm.
I mean, and the fact that they had he had access to the gun and he took it to school and then he told other kids and
Yeah.
other kids knew he had a gun and the other teachers heard that he had a gun too. It's just if I don't know. But she did win her lawsuit and she got
Yeah.
10 million. She thinks she was suing for 40, which is
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
wild. I
Yeah, she
mean,
only got 10, but, I know you ask for a lot more than you get in those situations anyway.
mhm.
But, I mean, you
Yeah.
could just tell the trauma. I mean, the other teachers that were there and testified for her were, like, traumatized. Like,
Yeah.
the counselor, the teachers, they were crying. Like,
'Cause
I
it could have
mean,
been
that's
them.
just
Easily,
traumatized.
it
And
had
can
been
you
them.
imagine the kids in the classroom? Like, traumatized, traumatized.
Yeah. I yeah. At least they were so young that they probably, like, really just didn't understand what was going on, because
I don't know, yeah.
I think when she was shot, she still was able to, like, get her classroom, like, together or get somebody I can't remember the exact,
Another
situation.
teacher came in and grabbed him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Jeez.
it must have been
I
a mess.
wouldn't even
I can't even imagine.
No, and I couldn't either, but I mean, thank goodness she won her lawsuit because that just sets that like, hey, there's repercussions for not um you encourage people to see something, say something. If she had lost that
Right,
lawsuit, then that would have just proven that it doesn't matter
right,
if we say something
exactly.
because nothing's going to get done.
Right. And
Maybe they should bring back
I'm gonna tell
paddling
you,
in
that's
Newport
not
News.
that's this was the extreme of that, of not doing anything about children and their behavior. This was the extreme
Mhm.
because he had a gun, he shot somebody. But
Yeah.
it adds up because little things like that happen. Just the little inconveniences and the little things that kids do to disrupt and administration, the teacher does, like I said, you have to call, you have to call, you have to do this, you have to do this paperwork, you have to do that. And they don't
Mhm.
follow, like, the kids know that the teacher has no power, right?
Yeah, that's what I
I
was going to
mean,
say.
and kids like him, they don't care if you take away some recess time or you
Yeah.
sit them away from their peers or you. You don't get to play the game. They don't care because they're so emotionally damaged. And but the administration doesn't do what they need to do. And that stuff, it just bubbles up. I saw a video yesterday of a kid in high school. I think it was TikTok. I can't, or was it Shorts? I don't know. But it
Mhm.
was the police were there and the school, and they were like, we're going to search you. Why? You can't search me, And just,
Uh-huh.
they're yelling and this and that. And they're like, and they basically cuffed them, searched them, and they had a loaded gun. And they were like,
Jeez.
okay, how old are you? They're 18. Okay, you're going to the jail, you know,
Right.
to the county jail. We're taking you to the county jail. Can I call home?
Mhm.
No, you can call when you get to the jail. You're
Mhm.
18. And they're like,
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything with it, sir. Don't take me to jail. And then they start crying like these kids don't know because they've never been punished. Like, and then they act like, why am I being taken to jail for bringing a gun to school? Like, it's blowing, but we
It
don't
is.
we don't correct this stuff early enough, and it just gets out of hand. And
Yeah.
parents aren't parenting, and that's a whole other story.
Mm. So, maybe should we so wait a minute. Is your conclusion that,
Maybe we shouldn't
they should be
paddle.
bringing paddling back?
No, I mean, I don't think
You
so.
can forward
It's too
all of your
messy.
emails to mo
Well, you
@gmail.com.
know, I don't know. I don't know. Just
I
devil's
know.
advocate. I don't think they should, but there were a lot
Yeah.
less behavior problems back in the day. Let me tell you,
Yes.
those kids, those boys in my class that were paddled were just paddled for being stupid, goofy boy stuff and not
Mhm.
bringing weapons or, truly
Yes.
harassing girls or whatever these kids are doing now.
Right. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Yes. So with that, guys, put your paddles away and stay sassy. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching and check out more of our videos right here. Stay sassy.